Statistics is often very complicated to calculate by hand, and that's where calculators can really be your best friend here. And once you actually learn the kind of ins and outs and the, sort of the intricacies or the idiosyncrasies of your calculator, you can actually be able to use it really quite effectively, especially once you kind of build that sort of muscle memory and you know exactly where the buttons that you need to push are, what you need to enter is, and then where the information that you want to find is located. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at an example problem with 3 different types of tables for data that's given to us, and we're going to see how our calculator can help us out. In this video, we're going over the TI-Nspire, but hopefully if you're watching without a TI-Nspire, it can help you out as well. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a dive right. So we want to extract some basic stats from each of these problems, all right? We want to know the mode, use the technology to find the mean and the median for the data set. So the mode is often calculated the most easily with your eyes, especially when the data set is this small. So if I'm just kind of perusing around here, I can see that 158 is definitely going to be the mode. All right, so I can even just write that one down, 158. Boom, that was pretty easy. But now in terms of a calculator, what we're gonna have to do is, well, go into the calculator, and what we're gonna wanna do is open up a list and a spreadsheet. So once you open up a list and a spreadsheet, again, this is the TI-Nspire app, so it's ever so slightly different from this, but it's still the basic idea. Once you open up a list and a spreadsheet, I went ahead and I titled my A column as data, and I went ahead and I vertically entered in the data that I was given in the previous problem. If you needed to go back to that data, just go ahead and rewind the video, hit pause, and get it. So I went from 146, 141, 158, 158, 161, all the way down to the end of my data at 238. Now, in order to run the calculator test that I need to in order to get the information out, I want to go ahead and I want to select B1 in this case because that's the correct column to put in. Now what you want to do is you want to hit Menu, then go to Statistics, go figure because we're in the Stats unit, go to Stat Calculations, and what we're going to do is one variable statistics because we are literally running statistics on one variable. We're just given a list of data, nothing else corresponding to it. So how many lists do I have? Well, I have one list, so let me hit OK. So what is my X1 list? Well, that means the list of the data that I'm taking into account. Why the calculator doesn't automatically default to, well, the data, the column that I titled it, I'm not exactly sure. If you think it'd be obvious. But yeah, that's why we want to title our columns. So that way we can really be specific with what we're choosing on do something on accident. So we have the data column, the frequency list is 1. We're going to put the result column in C. Let's hit OK, and there we go. So here's our X bar. We have 171.3. That is our average. So on our previous problem right here, we wanted to find the median. That would be 171.3. Now what is the median? If you scroll down, you'll find that right here, the median is 158. And don't worry about the rest of the values yet. We will get into that in future videos, but this is exactly what you'd want to do in order to find those values as well when you're running statistics on one variable. So what happens if you have more than one variable? Well, if we look back to our problem here, we're seeing that 2 dice are thrown 100 times and their total score of the 2 dice is recorded in this table. So we have the score, because again, the lowest that you can have with 2 dice would be 2 ones, which would give you 2. The highest you could have is 2 sixes, which would be 12. And then everything in between is right here. So 2 to 12. And then the frequency is how many times during those 100 rolls did you get this specific score? And we want to write down the mode, the mean, and the median. So the calculator doesn't actually give you the mode, but if I'm just looking right here, the frequency tables are really nice because I can just see that, boom, 2 happened 21 times, therefore 2 is my mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a list in a spreadsheet, and I'm going to put score in one column and have this going down, and I'm going to put frequency in another column going down. So I have score in one column with all of my scores. I have the frequency with all the corresponding frequencies going together. So 2 happened 21 times, 3 happened 9 times. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking that table and I'm pivoting it so that way it's vertical. So once I go ahead and I select C1, I'm going to go to Menu and I am going to go to Statistics, Stat Calculations, and one variable statistics. And you might be thinking, why am I doing one variable statistics? I thought we had 2 variables. Well, the variable is the score. The frequency is just how many times it happened. It's not actually a different variable, so to speak. So once we get to this, our X1 list, what we're taking into consideration is going to be the score. So we're looking at the score, and then our frequency list is quite literally going to be the frequency. So that's why it's still one variable, is because we're looking at the scores, the mean, median, and mode of the scores. However, we are now also given the frequencies, okay? So we're going to use frequencies in our frequency list. We're going to put it all into the D1. There we go. So now my X bar is 5.82. That is my mean. That is my median, 5.82. And my median is going to be 7. So 5.82 is going to be my, so 5.82 is my mean. And then my median is going to be 7. Just like that. Okay, so that's how we can use a calculator with one variable statistics to help us achieve what we want to get using frequency. However, there's one more thing that we can look at, and that is a frequency table when we're given these ranges here. All right, so let's say that we have the weight of 50 different cats, meaning that this frequency table right here should add up to 50. You can always go ahead and double check. But the weights are starting at 2 and going all the way up to 3, then the 3 all the way up to 4, then 4 all the way up to 5, then 5 all the way up to 6, so on and so forth. So whenever you are given a range like this in the course, what you want to do is still open up a list in a spreadsheet. But what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and for the weight, you're going to put the middle. So if it's in between 2 and 3, you're going to put 2.5. If it's between 3 and 4, 3.5, 4 and 5, 4.5, 5 and 6, 5.5, 6 and 7, 7.5, and 7 to 8, 7.5. All right, so that's what you're going to do. You're going to take the middle of that range, and that way you can have just one nice value into your weight column, and then I also have the frequency table right there. So then once you do now is you are going to go here, statistics, stat calculations, one variable statistics, because again, it's one variable, but we're also just given the frequency of that. So my X list is going to be my weight, my frequency list is going to be my F, and I'm going to put this in the D block, meaning that my X bar is going to be 4.2, so my average is going to be 4.2. My median is going to be right here, 4.5. So I hope this video helped you look at 3 different ways that we can represent data in a table in terms of just one single column and then 2 columns with the frequencies, and then another situation where we had the range values where we had to put the midpoint in order in our calculator in order to get the data that we wanted out. Again, this is really useful calculator skill to know on the TI-Nspire. It does take a little bit of practice to get used to it, but I promise once you do, whenever you see these problems on a test, the muscle memory kicks in and you put them in correctly and you title these columns appropriately, you know where one variable statistics is, you hit enter, all the information is right there, and it's also going to help us further on in the unit as well. So I hope that helped, and I'll see you all in the next video.